And it all starts at 2 o'clock on Saturday, November 4th. And that's when the food concessions arrive, when we have our spirit lounge, or of course we have our tequila lounge, we have a mezcal lounge, we have tacos, we have the best food you can imagine. And then on stage, we're going to have the best local talent. Of course, being Houston, we have to have the Centeno Spirit.
Oh,
One of the very,
definitely.
oh yeah, you can't go wrong with the Centeno Spirit in
Yeah.
Houston, Texas. So of course, we're going to have them. We have local DJs, performers, ballet folklorico, and then all that gets to the peak where we start the parade. So the parade will be right there on Bagby.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Spotlight Houston, where we bring you the best of the people, places, and events in Houston. To kick off Season 2, we start out with a wonderful interview with Mauricio Navarro to talk about the Dia de los Muertos Parade and Festival coming up on November 4th. And now your host, Blanca Quezada.
Welcome to the show. I'm so excited today to let you know that Houston is gearing up for a very colorful and fun and spectacular treat for everyone. Halloween is coming up, so the treat better be good. So the city will be celebrating the third annual Day of the Dead, which is better known as Dia de los Muertos in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a parade and a festival happening at Sam Houston Park on Allen Parkway on November 4th.
Mm-hmm.
But to give us all the scoop of the event, with me today is Mauricio Navarro. He is the managing partner and with the Navarro Group. And he is going to talk to us about what all is going to be happening, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. So
No,
Mauricio, it's great to have you here on Spotlight Houston.
no, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Long story short, I mean, I'm a Mexican immigrant from Mexico City. Houston embraced us when I was 9 years old back in 1979. So I've been living my entire life basically as an American citizen in the United States, but trying to keep my traditions of Mexico and trying to keep my Mexican traditions alive. Because there's been a lot of discussion over the controversial, more the pro, not the traditional celebration of the tradition, but the pro activations. So to me, it seemed very ironic for me to bring Dia de los Muertos to Houston, where I lost 4 of my family members in Houston. I lost my father,
Sorry to hear that.
27 years old, right there at Memorial City Hospital. My mother, my brother, my sister. I mean, they've all passed away over the years. And me as an event producer and trying to preserve this tradition, I thought we're best to keep this tradition going then in Houston, Texas. And that's what we've been doing it now for 3 years. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen November 4th.
Well, I commend you and I applaud you for trying to keep up, this Mexican tradition in
Mhm.
Houston and other cities
Yes.
as well, because that's something that's really important that we don't lose
True.
as a Hispanic community. I know it started as a Mexican cultural tradition, but now there's a lot of people in South America that have embraced it, Central America, even here in the United States because of all the immigrants and around the world. I keep hearing that other countries are celebrating it as well.
True.
So that's why I get so excited.
Yeah. I mean, what's so universal about death and grief and honoring our deceased? I mean, that's all we're doing. I think every tradition, every race, every culture, every creed around the United States, around the world knows how to mourn, how to grieve, and how to honor our dead. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
The Japanese tradition is very rich on preserving the tradition of their ancestors, honoring their elderly and honoring their dead. And so do we in Mexico. We the ofrendas is basically a way for us to remember those that came before us. We just didn't just pop up out of an egg. I mean, we've been here.
Right.
We have family that gave us birth. We have a DNA that we need to recognize. And the
Yeah.
DNA comes from an X and an Y chromosome. And that's what made us who we are today. And that gave us life. But what is universal is that with life is death. And what better way to recognize those that have been with us, that gave us life, to recognize that we will in one day come to that point where we will come to our deathbed and be one of those in the altar with the picture and the ofrendas. And eventually we will be those that will be honored, because eventually, we
Yeah.
can't be here for the rest of our lives. We can't be here for a million years. Our timeline will fade and our candle will die. But
Oh,
it's our
Mauricio,
tradition to keep
Mauricio, how did this tradition start?
I mean, honestly, there's historians that have been trying to put this together in a very cookie cutter type format. But honestly, this came up from Dia de los Muertos was originally an Aztecan tradition, because they truly did believe in honoring their dead. And they did do it. I mean, the human sacrifices were immense, but they did recognize their dead. But then, of course, when you had those little boats coming in from Spain and Europe, the one thing they brought with them from my day back in the elementary school, they brought the 3 Gs. They were looking for gold, glory,
Yeah.
and God.
Mhm.
So that's where God got invented into the Aztecan tradition, and they were immersed with Christianity. So All Saints Day, which is November 1st, is technically Dia de los Muertos, and November 2nd is also Dia de los Inocentes, the day of the youth and the kids. So this basically is a tradition that was started back in the Aztecan days, and then kind of reformatted to the Christian ideology that came with the European and the Spanish conquistadores. And I'm one of them. I can't hide the fact that my features and, I don't know if you can see my nose too well, but I have a Spanish nose. I have a Spanish forehead, and I'm a Castilian Spanish blood. But
Yeah.
of course, we know many of our Aztecan roots. They do have their very distinct ideologies and their very distinct characteristics. And of course, I'm not one of them, but that's the way we came to be where we are today.
Well, you have a couple of drops, I'm sure, inside you.
Oh, yeah,
Probably some
somewhere.
blood
Yeah.
somewhere.
Oh, yes.
But anyway, I'm so happy that you're doing this. And like I said, it's so important for our culture to continue these traditions and to
Yes.
share them and to share them.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the one
so,
thing I just wanted to tell you is that we get a lot of compliments from families in Houston and Dallas and wherever that thank us, because the majority of them can't go to Mexico to celebrate this tradition. So my job is to bring this tradition to them in the United States.
yeah,
And, there's a lot of people that wish they could go back to the motherland, but they can't.
yeah,
So my job is to bring it to them so they can bring their kids and they can show their kids, this is Dia de los Muertos. This is how we celebrate Dia de los Muertos. And to me,
yeah,
that's my biggest accomplishment, because if I wasn't able to do that connection, I really don't know why we would be doing what we do today. It's
yeah.
preserving the tradition, and it happens one generation at a time.
Yeah.
And hopefully what I'm doing is connecting that tradition one generation forward.
Yeah. And every year, this event gets larger and larger. So
Mhm.
I'm sure that this year is not going to be an exception. You're probably adding more to the event. Basically, as I mentioned earlier, it's a parade and a festival. And
Mhm.
that starts at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and goes through 10 o'clock at night.
Oh,
So
yes.
there's going to be so much to do, so much to see,
Mhm.
a lot of great music, a lot of great
Food.
colors, food, everything, right? So can you talk a little bit about what is going to happen during this entire day?
No, sure. Basically, we work for an entire year putting this one-day event together, and it all starts at 2 o'clock on Saturday, November 4th. And that's when the food concessions arrive, when we have our spirit lounge, or of course we have our tequila lounge, we have a mezcal lounge, we have tacos, we have the best food you can imagine. And then on stage, we're going to have the best local talent. Of course, being Houston, we have to have the Centeno Spirit.
Oh,
One of the very,
definitely.
oh yeah, you can't go wrong with the Centeno Spirit in
Yeah.
Houston, Texas. So of course, we're going to have them. We have local DJs, performers, ballet folklorico, and then all that gets to the peak where we start the parade. So the parade will be right there on Bagby. Ironically, we're right next door to our beautiful heritage tower that many of us know, that has the epic Aztec statue on the very top of that heritage tower. And where to start better than right there on Bagby?
Exactly.
And we have Aztecan dancers, ballet folklóricos. We have a batalla group that's coming in from around the world, possibly maybe 50 drummers. And then just local marching bands, spirit squads. We have the sheriff's office involved every year. Different schools, elementary schools, ballet folklóricos. I mean, everything you can imagine. And it's an incredible parade. It's a beautiful tradition, and just can't wait to see it again, because I don't know if you know, but somebody won a baseball game in 2022, the same night of our event. And we had to postpone our parade just for the Houston Astros to come home with the World Series championship.
So how many floats are going to be in this parade this year?
Professional floats, I mean, there's about 3 or 4 of those. But what really makes the parade is the walking procession. We open the parade to anybody. And the one that gets me the most, well, the two, is the Catrinas. The Catrinas arrive and they walk through downtown Houston in their glory. The second one, and probably the most important one to me, are those that walk in memory of. And if you ask me what that is, it's basically you walking in the parade with maybe a picture, a momentum, or special item.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it could be a watch, it could be a shirt, it could be their favorite jacket. And we put them in the parade in memory of. We have in memory of police officers, military, fire and rescue. I mean, and basically we open up the parade for anybody that wants to walk in the parade in memory of their deceased.
so do these people just show up and join the parade, or do they have to sign up?
Just to show up.
Okay.
That's the best way, because we tried it. It's like you have to register, send me an email, and so on, and half of those don't show up. So I'd rather just leave an open call. If
Yeah.
you're there and if you want to walk in the parade, all you have to do is just line up. We'll just hear the announcements and just walk. Just walk with us.
That's
all you have
great
to do.
that you can involve the whole community to be part of
Yeah.
the parade. You mentioned the Catrina.
Mhm.
I know what a Catrina is, but I'm sure a lot of our listeners or viewers don't know what a Catrina is. So can you explain a little bit about that?
Oh, okay. Now you're really going to test my Catrina 101 historical references. The only thing I can, and this is another one for everybody involved, if you really want to know what a Catrina is, read up on it, because there's a lot of traditions and a lot of different stories about it. But the only one I know is that our own Jose Guadalupe Posada
Right.
from Aguascalientes, he was a caricaturist for a local newspaper, and he came up with the very first Catrina. But when you start looking at the Catrina evolution, the Catrina has one distinct factor, and it's the white face. And the resemblance of the white face was our attempt to become more European. So it was actually more of a joke. And it was Jose Guadalupe Posada more telling people, like, if you really want to be European and you want to wear the fancy dresses and the fancy hats, then wear your white face because that's the death of the Mexican tradition. If you really want to be a Mexicana tradicional, wear your dress, wear your headpiece. But during that time, he thought of it more as a joke, as a pun. Like, okay, be a Catrina. It's a joke for those that wanted to dilute their Mexican heritage and to be more embraced to the United States and to the European heritage. That's why the makeup was very prominent.
Yeah, and the dress, the dress that the Catrina wore
Mhm.
is a dress that maybe was worn during the Victorian era.
Oh, yes. Oh, my
And
God,
a
yes.
huge hat, and just so that people can kind of place what a Catrina is.
Exactly.
They've seen it, they've seen this Catrina, but they probably don't know that it's called a Catrina.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
and Posada also did a lot of other illustrations that had to
Oh,
do
man.
with death, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them were kind of, he did them as a joke.
Yeah.
They were funny.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
um,
It's kind of funny because now, a short story, maybe 4 or 5 years ago when we started the Los Muertos Parade, we went to a local Halloween shop, and the one aisle that stood out the most to me was the Day of the Dead aisle. They had a Dia de los Muertos aisle, and the majority of us was Catrina outfits. And the lady, when we checked out my daughter getting a little witch outfit or whatever, I asked her, it's like, when did this Catrina outfit come up? And she said, we're just started, but it's been our biggest seller. And
yeah,
that to
it's
me,
beautiful. It's
yeah.
beautiful. It's a beautiful costume.
Oh yeah. But that to me just sprung up, the whole cultural appropriation issues. And it's like, oh, okay. So now we're a Halloween costume. Great.
Yeah.
And that's what triggered everything that led to where we are today.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad it triggered something in you.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm so tired of Cinco del Drinkos, and we celebrate more Cinco de Mayo than we do 16, which
Right.
is our Mexican independence. And, this whole deal went those with the traditions of the Coco. When the Coco movie came out, everybody was like, oh, the Los Muertos. And of course, the incredible James Bond running through Mexico City, Dia de los Muertos parade, when there was never a Dia de los Muertos parade ever in Mexico City.
Yeah.
It was fabricated for a James Bond movie.
Yeah.
And then all
Well,
of a sudden,
this year there's going to be a huge parade
oh, they
starting
do it every year.
at the
Yeah, they
uh
already had it.
Maximilian Castle,
Yeah,
Maximilian's Castle,
it
going
already
to
passed.
the
1.4 million people are going to be there.
yeah, yeah,
And all of it was because James Bond decided to have a movie where he was going to run through a Dia de los Muertos parade in Mexico City. And
well, yeah,
afterwards, he donated all the props to a local production company, and that's what started the Dia de los Muertos parade in Mexico City.
yeah. Well, I'm glad that other cultures can embrace this tradition of ours,
Mm-hmm.
but keeping in mind what it really means,
Yeah.
not just go out and party,
Mm-hmm.
but it's about remembering those that were in your life, you know?
True. And we get a lot of emails, a lot of texts, a lot of social media, and it says, hi, my name is Jim Smith. I want to go to the parade. Is it okay if I paint my face? And obviously I'm like, Jim Smith, you can. And just because you asked, you earn the right to do whatever you want. Because when they take that time to really respect the tradition and to be respectful of the tradition, that to me is a huge A plus for me. Because we don't want this to turn into a just show up, paint your face white, put a little headpiece, and look, all of a sudden I'm a Catrina. Try to be
Right.
respectful for the tradition. Try to
Yeah.
remember that we've spent a lot of time and energy maintaining our cultural traditions when we, as a Mexican tradition, have been isolated, this, well, lack of a
Yeah.
better word, disgruntled, disregarded. And as a true cultural tradition or somebody that brought value to the United States. And that's where my original really hits home to me is that I came to the States thinking that being Mexican was third, fourth, fifth class generation, that there was no value in being Mexican. There was no value in being Latino, that no matter where you were, where you came from, as long as you came south of the river, Rio Grande, you're less than anybody else in the United States. And now we're seeing that pendulum swing opposite. Now they see us as a viable, cultural, traditional, true people with heritage, with heart, that we're just here to do what we have to do, to work, to represent our culture, to provide for our family. We
And
built,
contribute to the growth of cities.
exactly. That's what I was going to say. We built this city.
Mhm.
If you want to see your tracks, your railroads, your streets, your schools, your buildings, all that was built by Mexican hands. I guarantee it.
Well,
So
Mauricio, you mentioned the face painting.
mhm.
Face painting um, eh, really wasn't part of the whole tradition. It's been around just for a few years now, right?
Oh yeah. I think it's the whole Catrina evolution with the Coco and the Jorge Gutierrez with the Book of Life. I mean, he's really the one that started the tradition here in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, the painting of the face, I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, I rather concentrate on honoring our dead and, let put the makeup away. Just
Yeah.
do. I mean, my friend that's got 4 pictures on it. My dad, my mom, my sister, my brother.
Yeah.
And that to me is all I need to share and all it is that Dios Muertos is that I need to honor them and to recognize them because I'm here because of them. And if it wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be right now.
Right. Well, can you tell us a little bit about the parade route? Because the parade just started 2 o'clock. We
Mhm.
want to make sure that everybody gets there on time, that they find the parking spaces, that um, that they don't go into an area they don't shouldn't be going into. So what is the parade route?
No, it's very easy. I mean, if you know Herman Square, which is that little square right in front of the epic Houston City Hall building. To me, it resembles very much the University of Texas Tower.
Yeah.
And it's right there on Bagby. And if you're going up Allen Parkway, which everybody knows, it's that very long street, you
Right.
go right up to Allen Parkway, you're going to hit Bagby. And right to the right is Sam Houston Park.
Mhm.
So you're just going to go 1 block in, you're going to turn right on McKinney. And then when you get to Smith, which is the street right in front of Herman Square, you're going to take another right. And right when you get to Dallas, you're going to do another right. And then it leads right back into Allen Parkway. It's a very short route.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And we
that's,
just want to make sure that everybody gets there,
oh yeah.
especially if they're, people from the community that want to be part of the parade.
Oh
You know,
yes.
we want to make
You're,
sure they get
if
there
you
on
want to be in the
time.
parade, join us at Sam Houston Park and then we'll push you right into the parade on Allen. If you want to see the parade, Bagby between Allen and McKinney, or you can go to Smith right in front of Herman Square, and you're going to get a beautiful view of the parade right in front of you.
Yeah. And do they have to wear an attire,
No,
a special attire, costume or anything? No,
to be in the parade or to attend.
to be in the parade.
We prefer it, yes.
Okay. Prefer the authentic traditional uh, dress, like
Yes,
we were talking about, like Catrina.
yes.
So
Anything they want to wear, we're open to it.
yeah, yeah. So are there any rules to follow right after the parade when we get to Sam Houston Park? Can we take in chairs, coolers? Um, eh, can we walk in? Is there, first of all, is there a fee? Do we need to get a ticket to get
No,
in?
no, it's completely free. Thank you for bringing up the question about the coolers and lawn chairs. We don't allow coolers. We don't allow lawn chairs. And we don't allow any guns of any type, concealed, permit or not. I just want to make that clearly that This is extremely a gun-free festival. Concealed, permit or not, it's not welcome.
You don't need tickets to get in.
No, and no tickets. It's completely
Okay.
free.
Yeah. And there's going to be plenty of food
Oh, yeah.
stands around, all
Oh, yeah.
different kinds of food, really good food.
No, it's going to be
So,
traditionally all Mexican food. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The best
Um,
tequila and the best mezcal you can have too.
oh, qué rico. um, so what is Navidad en el Barrio?
Oh, well, Navidad en el Barrio is our official beneficiary. And if you're from Houston, I'm pretty sure you know about Navidad en el Barrio. So they do programming all year round. And basically their major true event is raising funds to provide the gift of Christmas to unfortunate families or those that could need a little bit of assistance. Last year I was there when we gave away, I think they had maybe about 1,500 students at one center, and they all received an incredible Christmas gift. So that's what Navidad en Barrio does. So it's providing the gift of Christmas to the unfortunate, underprivileged families of Houston.
Will Hugo Ortega be there? Chef extraordinaire here in Houston?
Oh, yes. Yes, he is our honorary grand marshal. He's taken the place of our Benny and Nikki Agosto, who are prominent attorneys in the city of Houston. So we thought who better than to honor our legendary chef, Hugo Ortega, as the 2023 honorary grand marshal. And with that, Robert Gallegos, our proud city council member who's running for mayor, is our chairman emeritus, because he's the one that really said yes to us back in 2020. And because of that, we're here on our third annual Houston Dia de los Muertos Parade.
What about Angel Quesada? No relation here,
Oh,
but
yeah. No, of course. I mean, Angel is the official artist this year. We did a call for entries, and he submitted an entry that we were really impressed with. Our chairs of the board, we also have Dr. Laura Murillo and Jorge Franz, and they reviewed all the applications, and unanimously they agreed to honor Angel Quesada as our official artist. And hopefully you'll be able to share that image eventually in your show. And he's did an incredible job, and we're very, very happy with the outcome of his.
extremely talented, extremely talented.
No, he's a great guy.
Yeah, yeah. So who else is part of the people that sponsored this event?
Oh, Lord, I can start from the very top. It's got to be Reliant Energy. Reliant came in as a presenting sponsor. And with that, we have Comerica Bank, with Arca Continental, with Coca-Cola Southwest Bottling, and our favorite drink, Fanta Orange. So if you want a Fanta, you're going to have a Fanta at the festival, for sure. With that, I mean, the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Hola Houston, visit Houston First, H-Town Restaurant Groups.
You have a very long list.
Yeah, Cazadores, Ilegal Mezcal, Dos Equis is our official beer. And yeah, it's just a family of sponsors. Oh, I can't forget our official automobile, Ford. It's going to be towing our professional floats in the parade. The Houston Area Ford Dealership Association.
Yeah. There's one question that I've forgotten to ask. Sure. Are you going to have any contest, especially for the best costumes and all?
Well, it's a very good question.
Catrina?
Yes, and actually I forgot to mention one of our sponsors. El Rancho Supermercado is one of our official sponsors, and they're sponsoring the official Catrina contest. And the Catrina contest will take place right there on the main stage, Sam Houston Park, around 8:30 p.m. All you have to do is show up. If the judges see that you're worthy, they're going to be selecting the top 25 candidates to go on the main stage to do the catwalk. And then the judges will be making the selection. And if you win, first prize is $2,000.
Oh, wow.
Second
Y'all
prize.
dress up.
Oh, yes. No, it's incredible how much time and work and love they put into this tradition. But our second prize award is 1,000, and our third prize is $500. So
Oh,
2,000 for
that.
first, 1,000 for second, 500 for third.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, Mauricio, give us your website or phone number to get more information, to get a map of the route, the parade route, and
mhm.
also the information of some of the other events that you have coming up.
So the acronym Dia de los Muertos, DDLM, USA.com, and just go right to it. There'll be a contact us page, and you can reach me or email me directly. And then on the schedule of events that we have coming up on Tuesday, October 31st, we're going to do a kickoff event at the White Rhino Patio and Cocktail Bar. And then on Wednesday, we're going to be doing a volunteer outreach where we go out to different schools, elderly centers, hospitals, and we're actually going to be playing loteria, but not
Oh,
just
that's so
loteria.
much fun.
Yes, but this is our own version. We created our very own Houston loteria, the Dia de los Muertos. So every concept is a concept based on Dia de los Muertos. And we actually integrated some cards from Houstonian leaders or icons like NASA, Heritage Tower, and of course, our very first Mexican Tex-Mex queen. Mama Ninfas has her own card in the play, and we have one that's like the Be Someone Bridge is part of the loteria as well. So we're going to be playing loteria all over the Houston community.
Gotta be there. We got to be there. And that's happening Tuesday, November 2nd.
Wednesday and Friday.
Oh, Wednesday and Friday. Oh, okay. Where at?
Well, we're going to put the locations on the website.
Oh, okay. Great. Great, great, great.
And then,
yeah.
so of course we have the parade on Saturday, and then on Sunday at the same bar, the White Rhino Cocktail and Patio Bar, we're doing a free breakfast.
Oh, wow.
For serve. And we're going to serve until we run out of food.
Anybody
And
that shows up?
anybody just shows up, and it's a free breakfast from 12 to 3 p.m. And it's going to be menudo, pozoles, tamales, tacos, chicharrón de huevito, lo que tú quieras. So that's that's our way of giving back. That's our way of giving back to the community that supported us and endorsed us and just showed up and did an incredible job for us. So
Mauricio, thank you so much for everything that you're doing, for bringing in all these people to help you, and for trying to create a beautiful event here in Houston. Yes, it's fun and it's going to be spectacular, but there's a message, there's a meaning, there's our traditional culture that we have to remember. So again, thank you for all that you've done. And again, the parade is happening November 4th from 2 to the end festival from 2 to 4. So go on the website, find all the information. And as we were talking about earlier, Mauricio, the event, yes, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But the most important thing that we need to remember and why it's happening is to honor our loved ones, our ancestors, our friends that unfortunately have passed, and that this is part of our Hispanic tradition, a Mexican tradition.
Amen.
Coming from the Aztecs.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Amen.
So thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. And hopefully we'll see you on November 4th, right?
Definitely. Can't wait. So, and of course, thank you all for joining me for this week's show. And if you have any comments, please send them my way. Or if you have any show ideas, please let me know.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Spotlight Houston, a production of Story Zone Media.